Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome to my first nail tutorial. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching, I appreciate you. So we're just gonna get right into it. I'm blending this hot pink into the natural nail. And the best way to blend the acrylic into the natural nail is to make sure that you have enough product on your brush. So you want it to be nice and runny and nice and wet. By doing so, it kind of just melts into the nail nice and simply and easily, and it works best that way. So the rest of the nail, I'm just going to take my brush and kind of dry it off a little bit and just pat the sides. As you can see, I start to swipe once I notice that the acrylic it starts to like mold and it's not as runny. Then you can swipe. Otherwise, like, you can swipe the whole damn pink off and you'll be really upset. So I'm just patting the sides to just make sure I like my shape. I look at the nail from different angles, continue to pat the sides and just swipe and blend, get real comfortable with your acrylic, love on your acrylic. And I'm getting ready to go to the next nail, and I'm going to go in with the same hot pink. Nice little medium-sized bead, just enough for the tip, and I'm going to apply it right where the false tip is applied to the natural nail. And as you can see, my brush is wet because I want to ombre this hot pink into the natural nail. And you want to blend, please, when you lay your first bead, blend it into the natural nail so that when you lay your next bead, which is usually like a soft pink or a lighter color, you want that hot pink to blend in, and you don't want to see where it starts. You don't want to see that harsh line. So just make sure that you blend it out first before you apply another color. That way your ombre will be much easier to accomplish when you add your second bead. So I'm just patting the sides. I do a lot of patting on the sides because it saves me a lot of time when I get into my shaping, if I already have the shape almost where I want it to be. So I'm gonna just add this pink to the thumb as well. So now I'm just going to go in with another small bead of pink acrylic for the pinky finger. And the same method applied, we're still just blending this pink acrylic into the natural nail, making sure that there are no harsh lines so that we can have a nice and smooth ombre that we all can just embrace and enjoy. So now it's time to get it cracking. I went on ahead and added some silver glitters to the pink powder that I was already using. I used a finer glitter, and then I also used chunky glitter. They both are silver and they both kind of give off that holographic effect. I added two kinds just to give it, a little spice, and so that it's not just flat and one-dimensional. And it's no specific glitters or anything that I use. I use any glitter that I can find. Glitters from Michael's, glitters from Walmart, or any craft store. Whoever sells glitter, I'm there to buy it. So now I'm going to go in with a softer pink, as I had mentioned earlier. And because we have already ombre'd our pink into the natural nail, it's going to be so much easier to add this next bead. So here we are, just a small tiny bead to fit the cuticle area, and I push as close as possible to the cuticle as I possibly can without touching the cuticle. And I just pat it in really slowly, and I take my time, get in there, just pat, pat, pat. And when you feel comfortable, you feel like you have the acrylic in place, you just swipe down the excess. And by swiping down the excess, that's how you get your perfect ombre. And I'm not going to say perfect because there's no such thing, but you know what I mean. This is how you get your ombre. So when you're adding your second color, you want to continue to use very small beads because we are trying not to build up the nail as much, because we're going to go in later with clear acrylic, and clear acrylic is what's going to give us, our apex and just give us the sturdiness and everything else that we need. So for now, the only concern is blending and ombreing. So in order to get a nice and smooth blended ombre, you want to use a bead that is almost runny but not too runny to the point where it falls into the cuticle area. And it's okay if you don't get it right the first time, because it does take time to get the right consistencies. So just practice, 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 and I promise it will just come to you one day and you'll wake up like, oh my God, like I can't believe I'm ombreing like this. So just practice, practice, practice. So for now, I'm just swiping. I'm getting ready to swipe. I'm going to swipe that on down and just blend it down. And it's so much easier to blend it down because I've already ombreed that first layer of hot pink into the natural nail. And yes, I'm going to keep emphasizing that. So ombre can be kind of tricky because you have to look at the nail from like all different types of angles and just make sure that it's blended and it's well rounded. So I see a few patches where the ombre-ness is kind of off a little bit. So I'm going to go back and just add little small beads and do some swiping. You see I kind of move her nail around and check and see from different angles. So I'm going to go in with a softer pink glitter mix that I had already pre-mixed. And I'm just going to push it as close to the cuticle as I possibly can. And when I am using acrylic that has some type of glitter or pigment or anything like that, I always add a thin layer of clear acrylic just to prevent any lifting, because there's glitter in the acrylic and you don't want to throw off any type of balance. You don't really know what's going on, so you want to make sure that your client's nails not only look nice but they actually last. So please just take that extra time, because it definitely takes extra time, to just go ahead and add the thin layer of clear. So for this ombre nail, I'm just, patting it out and just thinning it out, moving it to the sides, working it in so that it's distributed evenly throughout the nail. And there we go. It's looking great. Looking great. for the middle finger, I'm going to be doing a smile line. I like to use the term V shape, and I'm going to do the V shape because I already have a couple fingers with the ombre, and I just want a little variety. So I'm just going to pat it down and form this shape. And trust me, I am not an expert at getting the perfect smile line, but I just do the best I can, and the rest, even if I feel like my V shape is a little shaky and it could use some work, then I just go back and add some extra acrylic. And if that's not enough, I'll just wait till it's set and it's dry, and I'll just shape it with a hand file and get like a little mini stiletto look going on. The first bead definitely wasn't enough to create my V shape, so I'm going in with the second bead, medium sized, a little runny, but still a little firm because I don't want it to move around too much. I want to do most of the shaping and maneuvering for this bead, so I'm just going to bring it down. Take my time bringing it down, just pat the sides and swipe the sides until I get the desired shape that I'm looking for. And just really quickly, I face my client's hand towards me just to make sure that the V is centered and is even, and if not, here's the time to correct it, because once it's dry, it's kind of hard to adjust it and get it toward the middle or get it to the spot that you want it to be in. So just every once in a while, face the hand towards you just to make sure that everything is looking spectacular. So I really need a nice firm bead, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a small one and just tap the back of the brush, and don't touch the front of the acrylic at all. And that's just going to dry the acrylic for you so that it starts to get firm and harden right away. And I do that when I need to just do a little bit more building, if that makes any sense. Using the 3-ball method to achieve just a regular nail without any acrylic design. I'm taking a medium-sized bead, not too runny, still kind of firm, just to build up the tip of the nail. And I'm just gonna go in and pat the sides. Pat the sides, pat the sides, pat, pat, pat it, pat it, pat it, pat. That's it. That's all you need to do is pat the sides and let the acrylic just flow down on its own. Don't try to drag it down. Just pat your sides, and I promise you, you'll be way better off versus trying to control the middle of the nail and swipe and take off your acrylic. Just pat those sides. I'm going in with the second bead, medium sized, still kind of firm. This bead is going to build up the apex, and immediately once I place it, I'm going to start patting the sides because I'm just maneuvering it around. I don't want to take away any product. I want to build up my apex so that my nail is nice and sturdy and it doesn't break in half. And once I have it in place and I feel comfortable with the positioning, then I just start swiping. I swipe the sides, I swipe it in the middle a little bit just to bring it down, and I'm swiping super gently. I'm swiping just enough so that it blends, but I do not want to take away any product. I just want to blend it all together. So now that the acrylic has had time to harden and set, I'm just going to go ahead and sharpen it up and file both sides into my liking. I typically just look at the nail as if I'm shaping for a stiletto nail. That way it just kind of simplifies it for you and you're not like concentrating on too many things at once. Because the first time I tried the V shape, I was really thinking about trying to make a V, and for some reason it just didn't register that way to me. It made it seem more complicated, and now that I have a little bit more experience, I tend to just shape it up like I'm shaping a stiletto nail. And when I think of it that way, it just makes it seem much simpler. And I know that probably sounds crazy, but nails is really all a mind thing. So it's really about what you're thinking and what you're feeling and your nerves. So just try to think of it in a way that would best suit you. So I'm going to go ahead and face her nails toward me just to make sure that my smile line is nice and centered. If not, I just go back and file the sides until I reach my own personal liking. So I've dusted off the nail and I'm going to go back into the hot pink glitter mix that I had used earlier. And I'm just going to use that along the sides of my smile line. So the key is to make sure that the two colors, they touch and they meet, but they do not overlap. So this is probably one of the most tedious parts of this whole process, only because you have to make sure that you keep this hot pink glitter leveraged a little bit lower than the soft pink, and that's how you define that V shape, and you make sure that you keep the line crisp, because if you overlap it, then it's just going to smudge and it's going to look like just one-dimensional, and it's going to make you really sad. So just really take your time with this. I would suggest that you just start with little small tiny beads, and that way you can just build it up. So I'm going to look at it from the side, and you can see that the pink is leveraged higher than my hot pink. Boom, right there. So I'm just going to place just a little bit, because I do not want to go over that soft pink, but I still want my smile line to be pretty deep. So I'm going to bring it down as far as I can and just pat it in, pat it in. Here's the finished product. Just zoom in and get a glimpse of that. Y'all see that glitter, 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 shining, 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 shining. But anyway, so I'm gonna go in with a different type of glitter for the other finger. This is a more softer, nudish, blush color. So it's really easy for these two colors to mesh together because the stiletto nail is like a soft pink, and then the glitter is like a soft glitter. So you really have to be careful and make sure that you pat down that glitter, pat it down, and keep the stiletto nail leveraged. So you're gonna see that I'm separating the two right now, just because they are so similar. So it's so easy to get these two mixed in together. I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to pick this color. I don't know, but I probably could have picked a different color that would be easier. But hey, if you want to see a little challenge, we're gonna make it happen. So here's the finished product. Um, they're looking pretty good. I must say they're looking pretty good. You know, look at that. Look at that. It's really, oh my God, they just really coming together really nice. And when I start adding these crystals and that shine and that glitter, ooh, they're gonna be so nice. So please subscribe, like this video, comment. I will be posting a part 2, so please stay tuned because it's going down. It's going down.